Good Monday afternoon, everybody. It's Monday, the first day of May 2023. This is Bethea's Byte, your home for news, opinions, debates, your voice, and justice served. I'm Ernest Bethea, the last outlaw. Thank you all so much for joining me today. And today's edition is twofold. I've got a very disturbing story, and also I'm coming with my annual public service announcement, which I really want to get to first because it's important to me. Because every time I turn my TV on, every time I go to the internet, or every time I pick up a physical newspaper, I see the same types of stories as the weather gets warmer. Pets being left in hot cars, kids being left in hot cars, and I'll even stretch it as far as the elderly being left in hot cars. Apparently, I have to do this every year so that somebody gets it. So, with that in mind, I want to bring up a little something that I got from Chat GPT as I was preparing for this portion. As I'm looking up details to bring to your attention, Chat GPT, artificial intelligence says, and I'm quoting, leaving children or pets in a hot car can be extremely dangerous, and in many cases it can be deadly. Even on a mild day, the temperature inside a hot car can quickly become dangerously hot, which can lead to heat stroke, dehydration, or even death. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, on average, 39 children die each year from heat stroke after being left in a hot car. In addition, it's important to note that it doesn't take long for the temperature inside a car to become deadly. Studies have shown that even on a mild 70-degree day, the temperature inside a car can reach 100 degrees in just 30 minutes. To prevent tragic incidents like these, it's important to never leave children or pets in a hot car, even for a short amount of time. If you see a child or a pet alone in a car on a hot day, take action immediately. You can call emergency services or try to locate the car's owner. It's better to be safe than sorry when it comes to the safety of our most valuable members of society. And I can definitely agree to that. How many more deaths from how many deaths from people being left in hot cars will it take before we get the message? Oh my God, I need to check and see if my pet or my child or my loved one is still in the car. Last thing we want to do is go to that point. Oh my God, I left my child. If you're thinking about it that way, oh my God, I left my child or my pet or my family member in the car, and the temperatures are already in the triple digits inside. This is what Consumer Reports had to say about this. Yes, of all sources, Consumer Reports, not the National Highway and Traffic Safety Administration, but Consumer Reports. They say parents and others must remain vigilant about the ongoing danger of children and pets dying in hot cars because heat stroke can be a four-season threat in some parts of the country. About 38 children die each year from vehicular heat stroke, and that's according to kidsandcars.org and noheatstroke.org. Heat stroke is the leading cause of death in vehicles, excluding crashes, for those 14 and younger. There have been 17 hot car deaths in 2022 so far. In most of these cases, the children were unknowingly left behind in the vehicle. As families prepare for the transition from summer activities to the school routine, it's important that remember that research shows these tragedies can happen to anyone. Last year, I believe this is talking 2021 here. Last year, about 38% of the 24 hot car deaths were kids who gained access to a vehicle on their own. In the hustle and bustle of summer activities, parents and caregivers need to be extra mindful of their children's whereabouts. If they need to keep vehicles locked in the garage or driveway and the keys out of children's reach. Even if you don't have children, it's important to take those precautions to protect neighboring families. If your child is missing, always remember to first check your pool if you have one, and check your vehicle, including the trunk. It's never safe to leave a child unattended in a vehicle. Even with the windows cracked or the vehicle parked in the shade, the interior temperatures within the car can reach dangerous levels in a short period of time. Even on days with mild temperatures, the heat inside a closed vehicle can reach dangerous levels within an hour, posing major health risks to small children or pets left inside. Testing found that even when it's 61 degrees outside, the temperature inside a closed car reached more than 105 degrees in just 1 hour, an extremely dangerous and potentially fatal level for a child. 61 degrees outside to 105 degrees inside. Makes you think, doesn't it? The test results help dispel a myth that hot car deaths or heat stroke happen only on blisteringly hot days in the dead of summer. And the myth that your car's color can significantly mitigate the heat inside the vehicle is also largely a myth. Children should never be left unattended in a car even for a short period of time, says Jennifer Stockberger, the Director of Operations at Consumer Reports Auto Test Center. Even when it's hot outside, she says, our test results show how quickly temperatures inside the car escalate, regardless of whether your car is light or dark. And research shows that drivers shouldn't rely on the shade to cool the cabin either. Researchers at Arizona State University and the University of California at San Diego School of Medicine evaluated cabin air temperature, and surface temperatures in identical vehicles placed in the shade and the sun. Their study estimates that even in a shaded vehicle, a 2-year-old child's core temperature could reach a dangerous and potentially deadly 104 degrees in a little less than 2 hours. The danger from high temperatures is particularly acute for young children because their bodies heat up 3 to 5 times faster than adult bodies. And that's according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. That's because young children, especially babies, lack the ability to efficiently regulate their body temperature. Children dehydrate more quickly than adults. Some automakers have begun integrating alert technology into vehicles to remind parents or guardians that they might be leaving a child or pet behind. That's the reason why I said when as I was preparing for this, it's a combination of warmer temperatures and a lack of common sense. I say a lack of common sense simply because no one's using it. They'll leave a pet in a hot car. Forget about it. Come back. That pet has to be put down afterwards because he or she is sick. Suffer from heat stroke. Yes, dogs can suffer from heat stroke, ladies and gentlemen. You got a child. He or she is left in a hot car. By the time you get back to the car, that child will have to go back in the car again, this time for a trip to the hospital. Right? You left the child in the car. The car heated up. The child's body isn't able to regulate itself to cool itself down, and the child suffers from dehydration, heat stroke, has to go in the hospital. Will he or she survive that? Time can only tell. Consumer Reports conducted several temperatures inside closed vehicles at their auto test track in Colchester, Connecticut, to better understand how rapidly rising cabin temperatures can become unsafe. The experiments were conducted with precision instruments. On a June day, keep in mind this is June of last year, on a June day, when an average 61 degrees outside during the first hour of testing, the inside of a parked car reached more than 105 degrees. On a July day, when it averaged 78 degrees outside during a 1 hour test period, inside of a lighter colored sedan reached more than 104 degrees. And during the same 1 hour test period, the inside of a dark colored sedan reached more than 109. So, sure, that's only a 5-degree difference. But let's be real. In all honesty, it doesn't make that much difference when it comes to your child in the car. 104, 109, it might as well lighter color sedan, darker color sedan. It all results in the same thing. It all results in the same thing. Consumer Reports reported the readings at the end of an hour, but interior temperatures continued to rise as more time passed. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has warned that on a 60-degree day, something akin to spring weather, the temperature inside a vehicle can reach a dangerous 110 degrees over the course of several hours. The threshold for a heat stroke in children is when the internal body temperature reaches about 104, and a child is at serious risk of death if their internal body temperature reaches 107, according to medical experts. Heat stroke is a year-round threat in some regions with mild winters, including the South and Southwest. Now, I want you all to take a look at this chart that I'm pulling up here. Now, take a look at this. Where I'm scrolling right now, where I'm going with my cursor. This is all for a light colored sedan. This for a darker colored sedan. Now note the escalation in temperature and note the escalation in time frame. Ten minutes pass. You have in a light colored cars, the average is 87.9 to 90.1. Just over 30 minutes, 94.9 to 98.6. That's supposed to be a normal person's body temperature. Just under an hour, 100.2 in a light color sedan, 10, might as well say 105 for a darker color sedan. Here's what happens in an hour. 104.1, 109.4. This is why it's always good to pay attention to your surroundings. Make sure that your child, your pet, your loved one is not in these cars during that time. Why cars heat up? Closed cars get hot quickly because sunlight heats up the inside elements, including the dashboard, the upholstery, and the steering wheel. That's according to noheatstroke.org. Those elements radiate their heat into the air, increasing the ambient temperature inside the car. Why doesn't cracked windows help enough? Partly open windows allow some heat to escape, according to the Senior Director of Auto Testing at Consumer Reports, Jake Fisher. But as long as the heat source continues to beat down and heat up the inside car elements, the temperature can stay dangerously high. So there's that. Everything you need to know in regard to how to prevent, just telling you what you should do and what you shouldn't do as far as leaving pets and people behind. So the next question would be, okay, what should I do to prevent this from happening? Follow me as I take you straight to the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration's website. It says that over the past 25 years, more than 940 children have died of heat stroke because they were left or became trapped in a hot car. It's important for everyone to understand that children are more vulnerable to heat stroke and that all hot car deaths are preventable. Yes, it's true. It's true. It's all preventable. But as I've said many times over, it takes common sense to prevent it. Here's another fact that I've mentioned. In just 30 minutes, a car can heat up by 40 degrees and become deadly. With a baby in the back seat, that's about 102 degrees, according to the NHTSA. Here's some facts. This is just going back. This is here are the facts that according to noheatstroke.com, a child's body temperature rises 3 to 5 times faster than an adult's. When a child is left in a vehicle, that child's temperature can rise quickly, and the situation can quickly become dangerous. Heat stroke begins when a core body temperature reaches about 104 degrees. A child can die when their body temperature reaches 107. Last year, in 2022, 33 children died of heat stroke in vehicles. Let me highlight that for you again. 33 children died last year of heat stroke in vehicles. In my eyes, that's 33 too many. Oh, but let us not forget about 2018 and 2019. Again, according to noheatstroke.org, 2018 and 2019 saw a record number of hot car deaths. 53 children died each year. That's the most in at least 25 years. Now look at this. Look at this graphic here. Outside, the temperature is 75 degrees. Inside the car is 105, and you have a baby in the back seat. And not paying attention to your surroundings, you forget that you left your baby in the back seat. What do you think is going to happen? Everyone can help prevent hot car deaths. So I'm gonna shout this out to everyone I can. So I'm gonna start with all the parents and caregivers first. 1, never leave a child in a vehicle unattended for any length of time. Period. Full stop. Rolling windows down or parking in the shade does little to change the interior temperature of the vehicle. Let me read that first part again. And parents, I hope you're paying attention to this because you're going to be tested on this throughout the warmer weather months. Never leave a child in a vehicle unattended for any length of time. Next, make it a habit to check your entire vehicle, especially in the back seat, before locking the doors and walking away. Again, pay attention. This is the kind of thing you must pay attention for. If you don't, you're going to lose your child. You're going to lose that loved one. You're going to lose that pet. And then, but when it's all said and done, you'll be the ones kicking yourself for being neglectful. Next thing, ask your child care provider to call if your child doesn't show up for care as expected. You don't want to be another case of, oh my God, I left my child in the car, and now he or she is gone, dead, or at the very least, your child has to go to the hospital for care. Okay, here's something something good that I mentioned last year. This is still a good idea. Pay attention, folks. Place a personal item like a purse or briefcase in the back seat as another reminder to look before you lock. Write a note or place a stuffed animal in the passenger seat to remind you that a child is in the back seat. I mean, sure, it's a good idea, but still, common sense would say, I'm about to leave my child, and I put my child in the back seat as I'm going to this place. When I get out this car, let me get my child out of this seat, because I know if I leave my child in that seat, I could very well lose my child due to the rising temperatures in the car. Just a thought. And lastly, store the car keys out of a child's reach and teach your children that a vehicle is not a play area. Again, common sense. The last thing you want to have happen is you lock the child in the car. Inside the car, it's hotter than fish grease. You have no way in, and the child is suffering. Protect your kids. Protect your kids by making sure they're not in a place where they can get hurt. Like this graphic here says, we've all forgotten something. Don't forget someone. Cars get hot fast. Check the back seat. This part's for everybody else. This is for everybody else. This includes bystanders. Secure your car. Always lock your car doors year-round so children can't get into unattended vehicles. And as for bystanders, you act fast, you can save a life. If you now, I say this is part of the true crime community. If you see something, say something. That saying includes a child in a hot car. This includes a pet in a hot car. This includes an elderly person in a hot car. If you see a child alone in a locked car, act immediately and call 911. A child in distress due to heat should be removed from a vehicle as quickly as possible and rapidly cooled. Again, it says child, but that goes for anybody. That goes for your child, that goes for your pet, that goes for an elderly person. You want them to live as long as humanly possible, right? This is what needs to be done to prevent unexpected or unintended trips to the hospital or worse. Last graphic from the NHTSA: a parked car isn't a playground. Cars get hot fast and can be deadly. Lock your car. But be sure you check your surroundings first before doing so. Please. Oh, wow. Yes, I do, Avery. Yes, I do. I'll talk about Avery's situation on a different day and time because right now this is not the time or the place. But I do appreciate Avery coming on here. I'll holler at her regarding that. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time where the weather starts to get warmer. In fact, some of the warmest days begin right around Memorial Day and end just before the beginning of October. Thank you, Blondie. I appreciate that. And Avery, I'll be sure to drop that message. Okay, thanks a bunch. Now, now that I got my PSA done, let's let's let me dive in to a case that was brought to my attention and by a dear friend. And I've got like one, two, three articles, videos, video links, I should say, and it is most disturbing as to how this all developed and I'm still trying to figure this out. First, I want you to take a look at this shot here. On your right is Bunak Hannah Landon, excuse me. On the right is Bella Fontanelle. Now, why would I introduce these two like this? Here's the breakdown. No, better yet, instead of me trying to break it down on my own, let me start with one of the articles. Authorities arrested a woman they alleged murdered her boyfriend's daughter before stuffing the girl's body into a plastic bucket and placing it outside of the home of the girl's mom. According to the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office, Hannah Landon has been charged with first-degree murder and obstruction of justice in connection with the death of Bella Fontanelle. Authorities were first alerted to the disappearances of both 6-year-old Bella and 43-year-old Landon on last Wednesday morning. After Bella's father noticed the pair weren't at Harahan, Louisiana home. Nearly an hour later, authorities discovered Bella's remains in a large bucket outside her mother's house. It was unclear who first made the grim discovery. According to the news release, surveillance footage obtained during the investigation allegedly captured Landon dragging a wagon containing a 10-gallon chlorine bucket the night before. Authorities believe Landon killed Bella prior to placing her body in the bucket and transporting it to the front lawn of the girl's mom less than 2 blocks away. A motive for the killing has not been released, and Bella's cause of death is being withheld for investigative purposes, authorities say. But citing Jefferson Parish Coroner Dr. Jerry Sitanovich, WVUE TV reports her body exhibited multiple injuries. Dad went through extensive interviews today, and we don't believe he was involved in the murder by any means, Sheriff Joe Lopinto said to the outlet. As you can imagine, both he and the mother are extremely upset, as you would expect of anyone who lost a 6-year-old child unexpectedly. Authorities say they learned Landon turned herself in to Harahan police just after midnight last Wednesday. She was then transported to a hospital where she was eventually taken into custody. Landon was ordered held without bond. It's unclear if she has entered pleas or retained an attorney to comment on her behalf. Now, before I share any videos or anything of that nature, I wanna give you a warning first about the photo you're going to see as I read in that article. And I'm going to go ahead and give you a warning. Just from what you're looking at here is a still shot of Hannah with said bucket, with said wagon. This is a disturbing sight. If If you feel you can't stomach this, I ask you to turn away now. When I first saw this when I saw that photo, it shocked me. It stunned me. Even the articles didn't do any justice to this case. In fact, let me start with this one coming from this is coming from Fox 8 in New Orleans. Jesus. There we go.
Death of a 6-year-old girl rocks a small community.
David Jones is live at the Harahan Police Department with the disturbing details we've been learning so far. David.
Jefferson Parish Sheriff Joe Lopinto says the young girl's father came here this morning to the Harahan Police Department to report his 43-year-old girlfriend of several years and his 6-year-old daughter Bella Fontanelle missing. But that missing persons investigation would quickly take a dark turn.
We're a small town, we're a safe town, and I just want the citizens to know that my heart and my prayers go out to the family of this child.
A sickening crime. 6-year-old Bella Fontanelle killed and stuffed in a 10-gallon chlorine bucket.
This is a senseless type incident that happened.
Our attention was drawn very quickly to the missing girlfriend who is now missing in action, right? We could not necessarily find her.
Jefferson Parish Sheriff Joe Lopinto says the father's girlfriend, Hannah Landon, also known as Bunak Lim and Bunak Landon, was found at a local hospital and placed into JPSO custody Wednesday afternoon. She'll be booked with first-degree murder and obstruction of justice. Lopinto wouldn't speculate on her mental state because investigators still had yet to interview her.
We ended up doing extensive interviews with both the mother and the father, the biological mother and the father. We do not believe that they are involved in the any foul play.
We never had anything like this happen before. That's for sure.
Lopinto says the sheriff's office recovered surveillance video showing Landon or Lim walking down the street last night with a wagon in tow carrying the bucket. You can see her here with tall white boots on. Lopinto says she took the bucket to the front lawn of the young girl's biological mother's house a block away, where it was found Wednesday morning. As a vehicle passes, Landon does not react.
This is beyond shock. It's got me shaking just thinking about it, that something like this could happen.
We got a lot of different evidence with a lot of different scenes here, that we'll continue to work through. But of course, we have an arrest, and we have, more tragically, the death of the 6-year-old, which is going to be a big shock to the small community of Harahan.
From Fox 8, this is breaking news.
Good afternoon. I'm Lauren McCoy.
And I'm Liz Reyes. The Jefferson Parish coroner says a preliminary autopsy shows 6-year-old Bella Fontanelle died of manual strangulation with blunt force injuries to the head. Meanwhile, the woman accused of her death is now in jail, booked with her murder.
And the horrific killing left Harahan neighborhood in shock, but police say their investigation is far from over. Natasha Robin explains.
She had the biggest smile. It seemed to be, she was the first one that would approach you, and share and just giggle and how you doing.
The Harahan community is still reeling from the tragic death of 6-year-old Bella Fontanelle.
And I would see the little girl and her older sister out in the driveway playing many times, riding their little bikes, and mother would sit out there with them. The grandmother and grandfather would sit out there with them, and it was just beautiful to watch them.
Investigators say her father's girlfriend, Hannah Landon, also known as Bunnick Landon, killed little Bella, stuffed her in a 10-gallon chlorine bucket, and left it on her mother's front lawn late Tuesday night. The sheriff's office says it recovered surveillance video showing Landon walking down the street that night with a wagon in tow, carrying the bucket. She's now booked with first-degree murder and obstruction of justice and is being held without bond.
We've been a small bedroom community for years. We average a murder once every 3.5, 4 years. And it's a tragic thing.
Harahan Police Chief Edward LaPrey says just after midnight, early Wednesday morning, Landon came into the Harahan police station asking for help.
Officer spoke to her. She seemed a little bit out of it. And they called to have her, she was asking for a transport. So they called for an ambulance to come pick her up. And once the ambulance came and picked her up, they transported her to a local hospital to be evaluated.
And that's where police say they eventually located and arrested her for murder. People who live near Bella's mother say they're in shock.
I thought everything was all-American, as you would say. I know she was working through a stressful divorce. She did share that. But it seemed to be, she was okay with it. I mean, she seemed to be moving forward with that situation.
But court documents show there was conflict between the mother and Landon or Lim dating back to 2021. In one incident, court documents show the two women got into a physical confrontation during a swim meet for one of the kids, and Bella's father had to intervene. In another incident, the two seemed to scuffle during a soccer game. Chief LaPrey says the investigation into the little girl's murder is far from over.
We're going to work to the end to try to make sure we get a conviction. This is a small baby, and any family would be devastated. I can only imagine what the mother and father is going through right now.
When it happens 2 doors down from your house, and you look outside, you see multiple policemen, it is like, what in the world is going on here?
People who live in this neighborhood still cannot believe what happened, but they say they're leaning on each other to cope with the tragedy. In Harahan, Natasha Robin, Fox 8, Local First.
Now, what you just heard reported regarding possible altercations between Landon and Bella's mother is confirmed in this report. 6-year-old Louisiana girl found dead in a bucket on her biological mother's front lawn in Harahan Wednesday died from manual strangulation and blunt force trauma. Hannah Landon, the girlfriend of Bella Fontanelle's father, was charged with first-degree murder and obstruction of justice when she was released from a hospital last Thursday morning. Bella's father reported her and Landon missing last Wednesday morning at about 7:30 when he woke up and found they were gone, as Crime Online previously reported. Another child was still at the residence. Investigators found the kindergartner's body in a 10-gallon plastic bucket on her biological mother's front lawn about a block away. Video from a neighbor's security camera showed a woman matching Landon's description pulling a wagon loaded with a white bucket down the street. Investigators located Landon at a local hospital, although they did not say why she was there. Jefferson Parish Coroner Jerry Sitanovich said Bella's cause of death was manual strangulation along with blunt force injuries to the head. I want to add that Bella's body was intact, contrary to public speculation. There was no dismemberment of any kind. This is not something we're happy to do. It's something that's hard to see. It's even more hard to unsee. Investigators have said they believe Landon killed Bella sometime on that Tuesday night. According to WVUE, Landon arrived at Harahan Police Department early Wednesday morning, likely a couple of hours after the murder, according to Police Chief Edward LaPrey. She seemed a little bit out of it. She was asking for a transport, so they called for an ambulance to come pick her up. And once the ambulance came to pick her up, they transported her to a local hospital to be evaluated. And that's when detectives began searching for her later Wednesday morning. According to WDSU, Landon is listed as the suspect in an incident that led to injuries on Bella's mother's face and hand. While Landon was given a summons for simple battery, the disposition of the case was unclear. Afterward, however, Landon filed for a temporary restraining order against the mother, saying she feared injury, loss, or damage. WVUE reported that there were at least 2 incidents of physical altercations between the 2 women in 2021, one at a swim meet, the other at a soccer match. It's amazing what you find out in cases like this. But yet, there was more coverage to this, and this is the ring video. And finally, this is the press conference regarding Bella and the arrest of Landon.
The Jefferson Parish Coroner Jerry Satanovich, Harahan Mayor Tim Bethea, and Jefferson Parish Councilman Dino Bonato. Here to announce a very sad case in the city of Harahan, which occurred last night and this morning. Earlier today at around 7:30 a.m., a father walked into the Harahan Police Department to report his child, along with his 43-year-old girlfriend, missing. When he woke up this morning, the 6-year-old and the 43-year-old were not in the house, although an older child was still in the house there. Reported it to the Harahan Police Department. They started investigating it as a missing person. They went to the house, started doing canvases in that neighborhood. The mother of the biological mother of the child lives approximately 1 block away around the corner. So the investigation led to go to that location. And upon arriving at that location, they located best to be able to describe it, maybe a 10-gallon bucket. It's a chlorine bucket, large, a little larger than a 5-gallon bucket on the front lawn of the mother's house. When they opened up that bucket, they found the 60-year-old deceased inside that bucket. Turned into a homicide investigation. Obviously, at that point, homicide detectives from Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office were called out to the scene. We utilized not only our resources with the Sheriff's Office, we also used the Major Crimes Task Force to come out and try to start canvassing the neighborhood, which our attention was drawn very quickly to the missing girlfriend, who is now missing in action. We could not necessarily find her. We were able to find numerous video from different households in the neighboring area, which showed her pulling a wagon down late last night with the bucket inside the back of that wagon. Ended up performing an autopsy today on the child. We classified the child's death as a homicide at this point in time. We ended up doing extensive interviews with both the mother and the father, the biological mother and the father. We do not believe that they are involved in any foul play involved with the death of Miss Bella Fondo, who is the 6-year-old that is deceased. Those interviews also continue to lead us in our investigation, looking for the suspect in this case, which I have 3 different names. Hannah Landon, which is an American name. She is described as an Asian female. Hannah Landon, H-A-N-N-A-H, last name Landon, L-A-N-D-O-N. Also known as Bunak Lim, B-U-N-N-A-K, last name L-I-M, or Bunak Landon, 43-year-old Asian female. As we were doing our best in order to locate her around 2 o'clock this afternoon, we were notified that she was possibly at one of our local hospitals. We were able to locate her at one of the local hospitals. She is now in JPSO custody, where she will hopefully later be booked with at least 1 count of first-degree murder and obstruction of justice. We've got a lot of different evidence with a lot of different scenes here, that we'll continue to work through. But of course, we have an arrest, and we have more tragically the death of the 6-year-old, which is going to be a big shock to the small community of Harahan. With that, I'll turn it over to Chief LaPree for any questions, and then I'll take some questions after this one.
Thank you, Sheriff. My name is Ed LaPree. I'm the Harahan Police Chief. This morning I was out of town at a conference, an FBI conference down in Orlando. I got a call from my staff in reference to a missing child. Immediately after learning more information, I reached out to the sheriff and the other chiefs that were with me at the conference. All offered to help. The sheriff and his staff, I can't thank them enough for coming in and working with our guys. Our guys responded. They were doing the right things. We just needed a little extra help, and I appreciate the sheriff for coming in and offering the assistance to develop this case. They will keep me abreast on the hour. They got me an earlier flight. I just got back in from out of town, but I appreciate everything. The city of Harahan is still safe. It is a safe city. There's no threat to the public right now. There is an arrest. There is a case being worked. The sheriff, as we get more information, and if it's necessary to report, we will. But at this time, I appreciate all the outside agencies that came in, gave assistance to us. We're a small town. We're a safe town, and I just want the citizens to know that my heart and my prayers go out to the family of this child. This is a senseless type incident that happened, but I can assure you that the Harahan Police Department and the Sheriff's Office are there for the family, and keep them in our prayers. And I thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Jerry Satanovich, Jefferson Parish Coroner. I want to start off by saying thank you to everybody involved in this case, from the 911 dispatchers to EMS to law enforcement, and last but not least, the people in my office. Cases like this are hard. We're parents, brothers, sisters, so it's very difficult and it affects everybody. So thanks to all of them, and they're very much appreciated for what they do. The young lady, the decedent, is Bella Fontanella. That's B-E-L-L-A. Last name is F-O-N-T-E-N-E-L-L-E. 6-year-old female. The manner of death is homicide. She has multiple injuries, and I'm not going to get into details regarding the injuries because this is still a fluid investigation with a lot of interviews that have yet to happen. So those details will come out. We're not, hiding them. You can just delay these. Thank you very much.
I'll take any questions from anyone who hasn't.
Sheriff, why was Miss Landon or Miss Slim, why did she go to the hospital?
I'm not going to release that at this one time. She, as I said, the arrest has just been made on her in the last couple of hours, so we haven't had the opportunity to attempt that. So that's part of the reason that we're not releasing the cause of death and injuries and some of this information. So I'll probably will release that to you at the appropriate time.
Sheriff, you said that the bucket was found in the yard of
It was in the front yard of the biological mother's house.
Of the little girl?
Yes, we believe the child was killed at the father's house, which happens to be about a block away, and then transported over to the mother's house, and then taken out of a wagon. Actually, so that was transported.
Is her home on Sedgefield, and the father is
The
Donnelly?
father is on Donellan. The mother is on Sedgefield. That's correct.
Do you know if the girlfriend had planned anything, or do you have a possible motive?
I don't have any information to be able to share. That interview is not out.
Or any chance that it could have been accidental, or is that
I
possibility
don't
y'all
believe.
looking into?
No, I think the coroner made it clear. I think the manner of death is certainly a homicide.
Was there issues with the girlfriend and the biological mother, or why was the child placed on the mother's front lawn?
I don't know the answers to that.
Do you know if the girlfriend lived with the child?
Yes, the girlfriend lived with the father, biological father, and I believe they had joint custody, so both times lived with both parties.
Did the biological mother find the bucket? Was she home at the time, or
She was home. Harahan Police Department was there with her, but she was home at the time. That's correct.
was she the one that found it?
I don't know exactly. I think that bucket was determined by him. I don't know who opened it, to be honest with you.
Can you talk about the present state of the girlfriend?
No, not yet. I mean, again, this has all happened within the last couple of hours, so really, she got to our detective bureau while we were here. So, what detectives were here.
Where's the dad?
Dad, again, went through extensive interviews today. I don't know if he's been released yet, but he should be released. From that standpoint, I don't believe he was involved in murder by any means. But when I left the detective bureau, he was still there, but he certainly couldn't be released.
Sheriff, and the other motions today?
What's that? Oh, I mean, look, you can imagine. I mean, I'm not going to speak for him, but I mean, both him and the mother are certainly extremely upset, which you would imagine on any person that lost a 6-year-old unexpectedly.
Sheriff, the other child, is she with her parents now?
Yes, I mean, she's certainly with the parent. I think she left with the mother, to be honest with you, but I know she's with them.
Were there only 2 children living in the house? You're aware?
I think the answer is yes.
Do we know where the child went to school?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that question. The child went to school at St. Matthew's the Apostle. I know the school reached out to their faculty, staff, and parents today. So I know that we notified the schools so that they can get the appropriate counselors in place and be able to utilize these things and the other schoolmates that are in place. So I think they're going to close over the next couple of days, let the family be along with the parents, kids be home with their parents, and then they're going to work with the archdiocese to have counselors in place for the children to go to school.
Sheriff, do we know how long the father had been with Miss Lane?
Several years. I don't know the exact number, but several years.
Do you know how long the child had been dead before she was found?
A good while. I must say. I mean, it looks like the homicide was late last night, and then obviously the child was found 8:20 or so this morning.
And the child was
I would imagine the answer is yes, but I'll let my investigators try to make that determination.
How did the dad come home?
I'm not going to release that right now.
He came into the police department at 7:30 this morning.
No, he woke up and discovered that they were not there. I think the father was there, woke up this morning and determined that his daughter and the girlfriend were not
He
there.
went to the police department at 7:30.
I think it was 7:30 this morning, which is not unusual in Harahan. Let's face it, most places you'd call 911, but Harahan's such a small community, they have a lot of walk-ins, which is not unusual for that. So he went to Harahan Police Department, which is of course just a couple blocks away, to view the report.
Any other previous reports?
I'm not going to release that. I'm going to let them look into it. The suspects had 3 different names. I'll let them go through all of those situations before we release it.
I know that there's a detective from the home in Algonquin.
No, the first degree murder is not necessarily premeditated. First degree murder is because the child was underage.
Was there any indication that this was pre-planned?
I don't know that yet, but it's the age of the victim which picks up the first degree murder, not premeditation.
You said that the other child's in custody.
I wouldn't say custody. I mean, the fact of it is the parents, we don't believe are involved. I'll let them figure out who's going to have to go. That's not a JPS officer. Thank you very much.
Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, now this is just my take on the whole thing. If Hannah and Bella's mom had beef, why couldn't they have just settled it without bringing the child into the mix? Now, as far as I'm concerned, all I know is that Hannah may have killed the child in order to hurt the child's mother. Now, that's just my speculation. I don't know. All I do know is the information that I've been given in the articles, from the press conference, and from the videos that I brought here before you. Everything else, like I just said, is speculation on my part. So I will keep tabs on this case, and I will bring you any information, any updates as it comes in. Bottom line is Bella Fontanelle, 6-year-old Bella, deserves justice. Let's hope that she gets it. As always, I want to thank you all so much for joining me for Bethea's Byte Reloaded. You guys are the ones keeping this thing running. So thank you. I'm gonna end my stream a little bit differently. Usually I end it with just 2 words, but today I want to end it a different way. Just last week we ended with had the passing of one of the iconic talk show hosts, Jerry Springer, and he always ended his shows with the same phrase, and I feel like I'm gonna end this edition of Bethea's Byte Reloaded the same way. So again, I want to thank all of you for joining, and thank you, Blondie, for the comments, for the compliments. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you for tuning in, and I hope I get to see you again. So, like I said, if I have any more updates and anything pertaining to this case or any other that I've reported on, I will bring it to you. So be sure to follow me all over social media, and like I said, I hope I'll see you all again soon. Until then, you all know what to do. No, that's my normal closing. This one's for Jerry. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Hey guys, this is The Last Outlaw. Because of you guys, Bethea's Byte is reloaded and running fine. Without you, however, the channel has no engine and does not run. So to all of you who watch the videos and have subscribed to the channel, I have 2 simple words for you. Thank you. Let me make this quick. If you enjoyed the video, or if you want to give your feedback on it, I'd like you to do the following. Like this video to get more eyes on it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Be sure to click the notification bell to be notified of future videos. Share this video all over your social media. Drop your comments on this video. Good or bad, I will respond. Be sure to follow Bethea's Byte Reloaded all over social media. At Bethea's Byte Reloaded True Crime on Facebook. At EKB316 on Twitter. At Bethea's Byte Reloaded on YouTube, with and without the punctuation marks. At EB The Last Outlaw on Instagram. At King of Hearts 316 2021 on TikTok. Email me at kingofhearts316_09 at outlook.com. Hit me up on the message forum at www.betheasbyte.com. This is your home for news, opinions, debates, your voice, and justice served. This is Bethea's Byte, and it's reloaded.